91-year-old Gene Klein is a Holocaust survivor, and he travels the world telling his story to all who will listen. In 1944, at the age of 16, he and his family, like many other Jews, were rounded up and sent to concentration camps. Gene was sent to the worst one in history, Auschwitz. His story of survival is in a book titled We Got the Water that was written by his daughter, Professor Jill Klein. The students at Lake Weir High School are currently reading the book in class, and they had the privilege of listening in person to Mr. Klein tell his story and bring that book to life.
I feel that it's nothing, when they are studying anywhere, when I go to speak to students, it's nothing like a live Holocaust survivor coming and telling him his story. Every survivor has a different story of survival. All of them are extremely horrible and important to talk about. And how important is it to survive and talk about it?
Mr. Klein's life has everything a book needs: loss, love, family, tragedy, and triumph.
In my case, it was one of those things that I knew my father was killed in Auschwitz, but I had no idea what happened to my mother and two sisters. So I told myself, this was about 6 months into my imprisonment, when I knew that I'm very close to not making it, that I'm going to tell myself every day when I wake up and when I go to bed, exhausted, that my mother and two sisters are alive. They're going to come home, and how terrible would it be for them if the father and the only son doesn't return. So I got to stay alive just as much for myself as for them. As it happened, my mother and two sisters, who were working in sort of northern Germany industrial area, working in an SS ammunition factory, all three of them survived. So this is unbelievable that a family of five, four of us came home.
Reading a book is one thing, but listening to the main character tell you about it in person brings a whole new perspective to the story.
For an actual Holocaust survivor to come in to speak with us was actually heart-touching to me. Everything that he talked about was everything that I read in the book, and just hearing him and how he went through and listening what he had to do to survive kind of like made me want to cry, because it feels really real when you have someone come in to actually tell you their story.
What the students gain from listening to a living, breathing part of history is more impactful than any book could ever be.
I am going to want to learn other people's story and how they survived harsh things like this, and I actually want to keep studying about the Holocaust and know what they had to go through just for us to be where we are now.
I really feel that it's very important that young people hear about it, especially kids in high schools. I can tell you how good it feels that I am able to do this, even at my age. And also, I have to tell the world that we never thought that something like this can happen to us. But if you really look closely, you see that this can happen again. And that is you gotta know about this, and if you see this thing happening, nip it in the bud. Don't let it go too far. Like in our case, it was too late to do anything about it.